John Paul Stapp. All right, folks, buckle up literally, because today I'm going to tell you the story of a man who didn't just study physics. He lived it. He stared Newton's laws in the face at 600 miles an hour and said, "Hit me." His name was John Paul Stapp. Ever heard of him? Probably not. But by the end of this story, you'll never forget him. Back in the 1940s and 50s, Stapp was a flight surgeon for the U.S. Air Force. Pilots were dying in crashes, and nobody really knew how much speed, G-force, or sudden deceleration the human body could take. So Stapp asked the question every good physicist asks, what would Newton do? Well, Newton would have probably built a model. Stapp? He built a rocket sled and strapped himself to it. Picture this: a metal sled, rocket-powered, flying down a track in the New Mexico desert. On December 10, 1954, Stapp climbed aboard and hit 632 miles per hour in 5 seconds. That's nearly the speed of a bullet. And then, brace yourself, he came to a complete stop in 1.4 seconds. Think about that. One moment, you're going faster than a commercial jet. The next, you're not moving at all. The deceleration? 46.2 Gs. That's 46 times your body weight and force pressing on you. Most people pass out at 5 or 6 Gs. Stapp? He survived, but it came at a cost. Let's break this down Newton style. Newton's first law, inertia. An object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. Stapp's body stopped because of the sled's brakes, but his organs didn't get the memo. His brain, eyes, and even his guts kept going forward. That's why blood vessels burst in his eyes, leaving him temporarily blind. His ribs cracked. His internal organs shifted. Inertia isn't just a concept. It's brutal when you're the object in motion. Newton's second law of force equals mass times acceleration. Let's say Stapp weighed 75 kilograms. Going from 632 miles per hour to 0 in 1.4 seconds means a deceleration of about 201 meters per second squared. That's over 15,000 newtons of force, crashing through his bones and muscles like a wrecking ball. No wonder his wrists broke, his spine compressed. His knees were permanently damaged. He ended up with chronic back pain, nerve damage, and hearing loss. The man walked around with more injuries than most NFL players, but he kept going. That brings us to Newton's third law, action and reaction. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The sled's brakes pushed back on Stapp, and guess what? He pushed back with the exact same force. All that energy had to go somewhere. It didn't disappear. It echoed through his bones, his joints, his organs. That's Newton's third law, in all its unforgiving glory. So why would anyone do this? Because John Paul Stapp knew that the data he collected could save lives. And he was right. His work led to seat belts in cars. He proved that humans could survive ejections at high speed if properly restrained. He helped invent better crash test dummies and safety standards for pilots, astronauts, and everyday drivers like you and me. He paid for it with his body. But he changed the world. John Paul Stapp wasn't just a scientist. He was Newton's stunt double. He showed the world that physics isn't just on paper. It's real, it's raw, and it can hurt. A lot. So the next time you're in a car and you click that seatbelt, say a quiet thank you to the man who proved it was worth it by going 600 miles per hour, slamming to a stop, and living to tell the tale.